and the bar's closed down. Bar back slinging that mouth is a lonely sound. The band's still joking about what went down, and me, I'm Jones in for one last round. 'Cause I know
Delaware Rock and Roll Society is inducting this year, among others, Joey Fulkerson. And I'm stymied at how to describe him. He's an everyman in the music world. He does. He's a respected musician. He's a songwriter. He's a repairman, does guitar repairs, an instructor. So he's a teacher. He does complete restorations of guitars, which to me is crazy. What do you come in with a fret and some strings and a piece of wood, and he starts it all over again and makes it real? Just absolutely crazy. I've been here poking about at some of what you see, which is a wall full of amazing guitars. But it doesn't stop there. There's ukuleles. He also plays a course of bass. He teaches these things too. He plays a mandolin, does a delicious slide guitar. Oh my goodness. My husband, this morning was playing some of his music, just kind of getting ready to see him this afternoon. And my husband comes out and he says, "Who is that? He's really good." And I said, "Well, most of Delaware and half of Maryland agrees with you because they employ him constantly." The other piece about you that I hear all the time and that I love is that whenever there's a need, you are there. Somebody calls you and says, "Come sit in, or we need some help with this. Can you cover it?" He's there. He's there, and that's great. Now, certainly for anybody, that means a paycheck, but it also means interrupting your time completely and making it somebody else's time. Really cool. I love those things about it. Now, was anybody in your family a musician?
Yeah, my father and mother weren't musical that I knew of,
Okay.
and but my oldest brother played the guitar and the keyboards, and then my middle brother played the drums. He was a drummer in high school, and then in the school band, and then was a drum major for the high school marching band.
Oh man.
And then he played in a little combo neighborhood band too, played the drums. And then I picked it up, and then both my sisters started singing. So kind of everybody played a little bit.
You're like the Lawrence Welk show in a contemporary framing, with everybody.
Funniest thing about it was after all those kids had moved out of the house, my mom just couldn't take a house without music, so she started taking organ lessons and learning to play the organ.
Wow.
So after all those years of never playing, she started playing. So it's been surrounded by it pretty much my whole life.
Oh, wow. She needed it. So if you say Fulkerson in almost any category in this area,
Yeah.
somebody knows one of you
Right.
who is the music world. Wow. We just looked at some of the guitars that you're building, and it's just amazing and beautiful. And you showed me one similar to this red one here.
Right.
I presume that's in the shop. But it was like a golden yellow. And you talked about how it was really popular back in the 70s, maybe.
Really, from the 50s, it was like a Gibson color.
Okay.
In the 50s, they called it TV yellow, and television at the time was black and white, and so those like sunburst guitars didn't pop as well on black and white TV. So they came up with this yellow color, and it really like stood out on the black and white TV.
Wow.
And then they still, of course, Gibson still paints their guitars that color also,
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be a cool, different different way to do one of mine. So
No, absolutely. So if you're interested in, if you're seeing this and you are interested in a guitar, you come talk to this man. He's got it going on. The other thing I love about your energy is you finish everything. So many people I know, so many musicians have, well, I started this and I'm going to do that and whatever. No, Joey starts it, it's happening. He's taking it all the way to the end.
well, there's been times that I have some unfinished stuff too, and but I try to just push through and get it, because leaving a life with a lot of stuff unresolved is, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I
You don't
mean?
want to be that
Yeah.
guy. I get it.
Always looking to finish that and get to the next thing too.
Yeah.
There's always something on the horizon too that
Always
you want to
something
do.
calling to you.
Right.
Okay, what's the difference between a guitar and a ukulele and a mandolin?
Several things. A guitar is usually a longer scale, which is the length of the string. The number of the strings. Guitar has 6, ukulele has 4, mandolin has 8. And the ukulele and the mandolin are a little bit way shorter scale.
Right.
Mandolin has 4 courses of strings. So it was 2 strings for each course. So it has this sort of chimey sound when the 2 strings strike at the same time.
Okay.
And ukulele has nylon strings typically, just has a different attack. So they all kind of have their place sonically in music.
Sure.
And the similarities between them is you fret them and pick them.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It's got these strings on it and a long arm. And
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You make it happen. You make it come alive. Listening to some of your music this morning, I love Gone, Gone, Gone. That's probably my favorite. What's your favorite of yours?
Oh gosh. I have a pretty new CD out, and some of that stuff on there is some of my favorite stuff. "Falling for You" is one of my more favorite songs. And I wrote the title song. Was a funny story. I had this feeling, being a musician, you play music and the crowd energy is going, and you got this great vibe going. And then all of a sudden, boom, the gig is over. Everybody leaves. You're tearing your stuff down. Then you're in your car or you're in your room or your hotel or home alone. And you're still kind of riding on that energy,
Yes.
And I tried to write a song with that feeling in it, and it became another song that's on my CD called The Goodnight Song. It's more like a thank you. It ended up being more like a thank you to the fans who come out and support the music. So when I was doing this CD, I said, I want to finish this idea, and it became the title song. It's called When the Lights Go Down. And that's another one of my favorites.
Nice. I like the idea that you're staying with that modern thing. You may have a few that you're sentimental about from the past, but that was interesting to me that you answered with the newer stuff.
And I have stuff, since funny thing is I had some of those songs for a long time that are on my new CD, and played them with the band for a bunch of times, and then once the CD got done, all of these new songs started popping in my head. So I got half a dozen new ones that are just not finished yet, and they're going to be my favorite ones next.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's an old line about if you focus on something with intensity, the universe will contrive to assist you. So, you are recognized by the universe as a songwriter, and they're going to help feed you. They're going to keep feeding you. Oh, my goodness. Now, I know that you are so recognized here, in this area, but talk to me about life with Chubby Checker on the road.
It was a crazy, crazy time, really. It was a lot of fun.
When was it?
I auditioned for the band in November of 2000.
Okay.
and it was like a cattle call audition
Mm-hmm.
in New York City, and there was probably a dozen guitar players there, and he didn't pick me that day. My two friends had been working with him. One friend was his road manager, and the other one was his bus driver and valet.
Okay.
And they kept telling him, "Hey, man, Joey's your guy." You know, he
Right.
kept going through guitar player after guitar player, and nobody would stay. And so they took me to the audition. I thought I did pretty good. He picked some other guy, and that guy lasted about 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he picked another guy, and that guy lasted a month. So in like the middle of January of 2001, I'm away from my house, and my sister calls me in the middle of the night. "Hey, these guys are looking for you." And so I got up with them in the morning. There was like, "Hey, the guy didn't show up for the bus call. It was an airplane ticket waiting for you at Baltimore. Be down here, bring up black pants, a black vest, and a white shirt, and your guitar." So I went down there, and I played the gig like just cold. Hadn't really rehearsed the material in months.
Right.
I thought I didn't get the job, so I wasn't really practicing.
Yes.
And went down there, and I played the gig. And then on the way home, Chubby asked me, "Hey, you want to stay?" I'm like, "I'm here." And I stayed for almost 6 years.
Wow.
Like January 2001 through October of 2006.
Oh man. Oh man. That's bragging rights. You know?
And it was fun. I mean, with that job, I got to travel to all these places that I never would have gotten a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
We went through, played every state in the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii.
Okay.
Went all through Canada. Went to Ireland. Went to Australia. Went to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like too much fun.
Crazy fun.
And then added perk of that was like these shows we would do. It'd be all my heroes. You know, I met Chuck Berry, and I met Bo Diddley, and Little Richard, and all these guys.
Yes.
And it was just crazy. To
What am I doing here?
right. How did I get in this
Yeah.
situation? And you got to act cool. You got to act like you belong there. But it's like the fanboy is like, "Oh my God, it's Chuck Berry!"
Jumping out of his skin.
Yeah, it was so great, and got to meet them and get my picture taken with them, and and just be hanging out with them and stuff. It was like really fun.
I love it.
I love the travel part, and I love meeting all those, the other
Mm-hmm.
stars and stuff. So.
Okay. All right. Out of that whole group of guys that you met when you were traveling with Chubby Checker, or when Chubby Checker was traveling with you, yeah.
Yeah.
Who impressed you the most?
I mean, for me, the biggest deal was probably Chuck Berry.
Okay.
'Cause I got a chance. He was coming. He was playing the show. We were playing the inaugural for Ed Rendell when he became the governor of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So we were in Harrisburg, and there was a big party, and there was all these big stars, and they had this crazy, like, all-star band that was basically the backup band. Chubby insisted on us coming to play with him, so he could have played with this. These guys are the best in the studio musicians in the world.
Bragging rights.
And so I'm standing there, and Chuck Berry comes by. I'm like, "Hey, Chuck, can I get a picture with you?" And he said, "Make it quick." It's kind of very gruff. And I got my camera out, had my camera really quick, and I said, "Hey, I think I owe you some money." And he looked at me kind of funny. I said, "For the guitar lessons." And I got a laugh out of him. I got a chuckle out of him. And that was just a big time for me.
Oh,
because when I was a kid, that was, playing his music was how I learned how to play guitars. A lot of it,
I'm so tickled you got that.
Yeah.
I'm so tickled. But you caught his attention.
Yeah, it was fun. I got him to laugh,
That's wonderful.
He's kind of a notoriously kind of
about money. That was a good hook.
Right. And not the friendliest guy in the world either, So I got him. I got a great picture together with him, and then I got a good chuckle out of him too. So
that's neat. That's neat. And out of everybody else, when you tell the story, Okay, I got a list. Hyde Park, the Hurricanes, of course, the current, nothing but trouble. No, who did you play with? Who were the other performers in those bands?
Hyde Park, like my first band was, I talked about my friend Chris Forbes. Chris
Mhm.
Forbes and I started this band called Funny Money. And it was just, some local guys, and we tried to be rock stars and all that stuff. And then after that, I think the next band was like a more like a metal, like a heavy metal band, Metal Johnson with Adam Murray and a couple other guys.
Yeah.
And then Hyde Park was this band of local guys that they were kind of coming on as the very much like sort of an Aerosmith kind of feel,
Yeah,
that kind of Thin Lizzy, Aerosmith kind of that kind of rock and roll.
I knew their names.
And Brian Schultes was the singer songwriter, and very talented songwriter. And they were having, I guess, musical differences with the guitar player at the time.
Mhm.
Phil, his name is Phil Moore, and so they called me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey man, can you come and play with us?" And so I went over there, and I'm learning the tunes and everything. And I remember looking down the road, and there's like we were playing on this farm. This dusted trail of dust has come flying up the driveway, and it's Phil. It's like he was mad because they got another guitar player.
Oh boy.
But him and I we always got along okay, and it was more he was mad at them, not that mad at me. But we
Little drama.
yeah, a little bit of stuff, and then unfortunately Phil got killed. He was on a motorcycle accident, a fatal motorcycle accident. So after that, they were kind of
Yeah.
swinging around in the dark, and I ended up getting in the band several times over the years. So,
Okay.
and then we went to Boston and recorded an album. Did half of it in Boston and half of it did at Mid South Audio in Georgetown with Kevin Short. We
Okay.
finished up here. So, and it's still, people are still asking for those songs all these years.
Wow.
And it was like Rob Robertson, Phil Moore on bass, Joe Roach on the drums. We had several drummers. Chris played in that band for a while too. So,
Gotcha.
and then I played in the Cutters.
Oh yeah.
The Cutters was a like a '50s, '60s show band, and we
Mhm.
did costume changes and little skits on stage and all that stuff. And it was good education for me because I kind of missed that. Being my age, I missed that as a kid. I missed playing that music.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was good going backwards a little bit, getting that education. I learned all the '50s stuff, all the '60s stuff, which helped me when I got the Chubby gig. I kind of had a better
Yeah.
understanding of how to play all that music. And the Cutters was great. We toured like Jersey, West Virginia,
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, all over the place. We were on the same management as the Fabulous Hubcaps
Oh okay.
at that time, the TSMB production. So we were kind of in that same circuit with those guys, did a bunch of shows with them.
Nice. What's your favorite '50s song?
Oh gosh,
I bet.
Sleepwalk,
Oh, gorgeous.
Santo and Johnny, I would
Yes.
say. That beautiful slide guitar.
Yes. I want to talk to you about the slide guitar because that's what impressed my husband, and he's Hawaiian.
Okay.
So half Hawaiian. And that's when they not running, but came from the back room and said, "Who is that? He's really good. I want to encourage you to do more of that." Now, is it a matter of you have to have the right audience? You have to.
No, just the song kind of dictates
Okay.
how I would approach it.
Okay.
Some songs I play a couple different ways of slide. I play like an open tune slide where you play the strum of the strings open and it's a chord.
Okay.
So when you slide up, it's a chord. It's a whole chord.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also play just standard tune guitar with the slide, which there's a couple places where you can grab a 3-note chord, but it's mainly single notes or 2 notes at a time. Or whatever.
Okay.
And then just kind of whatever the song dictates, really, you
Yeah.
kind of get that feel.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more of that.
I love it. I love, some of my favorite guitar players were Dwayne Allman,
Yeah.
and the guys, Leonard Skinner, they played great slide.
Yes.
and all those. That Southern rock was kind of my first love, you know.
Okay.
And then I started listening to the blues guys, and then that's all just deep in the blues, you know. The slide guitars are really deep in the blues, so
So, yeah,
I love it.
I forget about that. It really is. You know, it really is deep in the blues. You're educating me. How about the Hurricanes?
Hurricanes was a pretty good band. I was kind of frustrated with the Hyde Park guys at the time. We could have gone pretty big, and it was just kind of never not materializing, you know.
Yes.
And I think we partied pretty hard, and the music suffered because of that, you know. So I was kind of looking to do something else, and I decided I was going to be the front man of my next band,
Okay.
where I'm in control of, you know, song choices and all that stuff. So put together the Hurricanes was the Billy Myers on drums, Bert Tremble on the bass, Charlie Bowley he was a wheelchair bound, but he played the harmonica.
Okay.
So we started out as a 4-piece band, and we were playing, you know, that's the Stevie Ray Vaughan era, you know, that kind of blues and all that, you know, it basically a hard rock and blues band.
Yes.
Like many of the Wilmington area guys, Rocket 88 and Roger Kirk and all those guys, they put on some really great, you know, kind of that high energy Tommy Conwell,
Yes.
you know, the kind of a high energy blues thing. That's kind of what we were going for. And then we ran into this keyboard player from the Maryland, from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and Joe Martone, his name was, and he came in and just kind of, that was like the kicker. And, oh my God, it was such a great band, and we did a lot of good stuff. We this was at the time when Kahunaville was going on, in Wilmington, and they were doing those shows on the water.
Yes.
And we opened for, you name it, like Blue Oyster Cult and Foghat and Charlie Daniels Band and Three Dog Night, and we really, you know, they liked us because we came on and we put on a good high energy show.
Yes.
And we got off the stage quickly. You know, I mean, we understood
respect.
But we understood how this works, you know.
Yes.
And we just they really did some. We had played some incredible shows up there. And then my regret with that band was we never really got. We started recording and then the band kind of fell apart, and never really materialized with an album. So that's kind of my biggest regret with that.
How many tapes?
I have some stuff, yeah.
Good.
It's really raw, unmixed, and so, but it's there. There's proof of life there, you know.
Yeah, you've got the history.
Right.
Yeah. Crazy stories. Crazy good. You and Dan Long. Since I got right. No, I want to talk about Kevin Nemeth.
Yeah, Kevin Nemeth.
Nemeth,
right.
We say. Since high school?
Yes, we had a music class together, and when we were in 11th grade and 12th grade, they decided to put a class together for musicians who weren't in the school band.
Okay.
Right? There was.
Oh, it's nice.
And it was kind of a, you know, cutting edge at the time because nobody was really could care less about a guitar player. If you play guitar, there was no place for you in the music education at that time. So they started this course called Music Learning Lab, and you could play whatever your instrument was. We played keyboards, played the harmonica, or whatever. You know, you could find a place. And so Kevin and I, we kind of hit it off right away. We had similar taste in music. He had a band at the time, and I had a band at the time, and we were kind of playing the same little circuit. And then we would end up in this class together, and our voices melded together harmonically really well.
Nice.
And we just kind of we hit it off like, you know, as really good friends, you know. And so, you know, we had a couple of years of that, and then, you know, I got out of high school and he went to college and got married and had kids and all this stuff. And I think it was like our 20th class reunion or 25th class reunion. I run into him there, and he's like, "Still playing?" I'm like, "I'm still playing."
Of course.
And he said, "I've been, got my business." And he's an insurance salesman, but he's been writing songs every night. He's playing the guitar, writing songs. He says, "I've got 40, 50 songs. I want to start recording." So, not long after that, we got together. He had a little digital recorder, and we started writing, recording his songs. And we've got 7 CDs now out of original songs. It's called Covered Bridge. Covered Bridge Music is the title of the group. So, and it's all original stuff, all kind of different styles. We have a CD of, he wrote all these songs, true stories of the Civil War. So there's like 10 or 12 songs, and each one has a background story that's a true story from the Civil War era. And we try to make the music very period sort of correct and moody, and then we've got like a little jazzy album. We got sort of a country rock album. We got a blues album. We got like a really full out rock and roll album, and it's been fun. It's been a really, really fruitful collaboration with them. Really, I mean, we get to, it's never been very commercially successful, but creatively it's been a great thing.
It's satisfying.
Right, and he's getting all his songwriting stuff out where we can present it in a certain way. And then my part of it is I have this crazy collection of instruments, oddball stuff, and we'd be into a song like, "This needs something," and I'd be like, "I'll be right back." I'd run home and bring back the ukulele or bring back the zither, or I have this thing called the bowed psaltery, and it's like you play it with a little short bow, and it's got a very unique sound. So we would add all this stuff into the music, and like when you're listening to it sonically, it's like, wow, what is that? So it's been really, really a lot of fun playing with him. And he produced the CD that I put out too. He was heavily involved with that too. So I mean, I played all the songs, and he sang a little bit on it, but he was engineered and produced that whole thing too. So we spent a lot of time together, and it's like a brother.
What a life in music you have had. What a life.
It's been a blessing, really. I mean,
I
a lot of people do stuff that they don't really love, and
here you are.
I love it, and I get to make a living at it too. So
totally in the surf up to your shoulders. But I made a note here about something called Crazy at Cool Dog.
That's a kind of a funny story. It's like if you Google Joey Fulkerson, this thing is one of the first things that pops up. And Cool Dog was a friend of mine, Paul Gummerman. He had this Cool Dog house concert series, right? He named it after his cool dog that he had, and he would have artists come in to his home, and then you would come in and put $10, $15 in the jar, whatever that goes to the artist. He would maybe get one of the local breweries, tap a keg of beer, bring your own wine or whatever, and then I do this cover of the Patsy Cline song "Crazy," right?
Yes.
But I sing it like Elmer Fudd, right? So it's crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. So it's crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. And that's like, of all the things I've done in my life, when you Google Joey Fulkerson, that's like the top of the list. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like, oh well. But it's funny, and I, kind of
do a couple more lines for us.
The funniest part is like, oh gosh, crazy for quiet and crazy for quiet and I'm crazy for loving you.
Here we have it, folks, the consummate entertainer. Oh, that's adorable. That is adorable.
I get requests for that all the time. And then, Elmer Fudd. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Right. Well,
I did this cool album. They want to hear Elmer Fudd, you know.
oh no, I think the 8 CDs that you guys made together needs to get some airplay. Needs to get some coverage. Okay, so what are your last 3 CDs?
The last 3 are Bring the Jazz Guitar on Wednesday, I think it's called. Hope Hope Rock Strings of Wood or something. Some combination, but I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
And then When the Lights Go Down, that's my solo.
And this one.
Yeah.
Amazing. What's your next project musically?
Well, I've got, like I told you, after some of the songs that are on When the Lights Go Down, I've had for a long time.
Right.
And so they've been just clouding up my mind. And once I got the CD out, that's all off my plate. And all of a sudden, I've got half a dozen new tunes that popped in my head. So we kind of got the demo tracks down. And really, my struggle always is lyrics, finding lyrics that
Yes.
are meaningful, they don't sound stupid, or not too cliche, or whatever. You know, I work with some really great songwriters over the years, and some of my friends are really great songwriters. So I set the bar pretty high for myself, you know. And if it's not, my tendency is like, oh, that's terrible. We'll go on to something like that. So I'm in the midst of that, doing with the songs is basically doing a lyric ideas and coming up with that. And then I've got, a couple custom guitars are being polished and assembled right now.
Ready for purchase.
Building a new shop out in my backyard. I've got a lot of stuff going on.
The new shop's going to be open for people to come through and to see the things that you have available, as well as to maybe see some things behind glass.
Yeah, I've been saving up all this. Every band I played in, I have memorabilia from that era, and just been kind of sitting on it, hoping one day to have a place to display it. And now this new shop will have a pretty good amount of space to display that stuff.
Just amazing. If you had any advice to give a young guitarist?
Work on your timing. That's super important. A lot of people play okay, but their timing's odd,
Gotcha.
And then
Makes it tough to play with anybody
right,
else, too.
exactly right. They play by themselves and their timing's all off, and then when they play with someone else, it's jerky and kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, make it about doing the work. I was always about playing the music, making the music the best it can be, and then the party thing creeps in around you when you're playing music, especially when you're young. Everybody wants to be a rock star and live the rock star life and the trappings of all that stuff. But to make it about the music more important, make the music more important than anything else. All that the surrounding stuff pulls you away. It causes you to stay up all night Friday night, and you go out to your gig on Saturday, and your voice is not that good, or your playing's not that good because you didn't get your rest and all that stuff. And this kind of I've always put the music first.
Putting the music first. I like that. I like that. Well, it looks like Delaware Rock and Roll Society is going to have plenty of resource for, the museum and whatever, and, from, you know, the things that you're doing and the things that you've done. And, you know, we don't have to include a full version of you as your cartoon self, but you know, you want to throw in a few, you know, there we go. I hope that you keep playing everywhere and keep going on and on and on with it, because you have integrity. You finish your work, you add the creativity to it. Instead of just saying, I love these guitars, you said, how does this work? How does this work if I take it apart? And I love the idea that you finish it. You let me coerce you into singing that little bit of song. I want to thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure,
Great.
and I'm honored to be inducted with that great group of guys and gals too. That, I mean, some of my heroes are coming up on this. And kind of blows my mind a little bit that I'm included in it, honestly.
Well, remember, they're saying the same thing about
Yeah.
you. So, yeah, there we go. Thanks again.
Thank you, Paul.
Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue.